Hi, this is Liz with Happy Acres Dog Training. We often get asked in our classes about stuffing Kongs. Obviously, these three here are Kongs, and then I also have these are Nylabones. These are chewable, soft alternatives to rawhides that you can stuff. You can see through these. So what we do is we stuff these and we freeze them, or we can give them to our dogs at the present time. So two recipes that we use here. We have a can of dog food, high value, quality, good dog food, a good peanut butter that doesn't have xylitol in it, and then we have some chopped up carrots, we've got some chopped up apples, and a can of pumpkin puree. This is the same stuff you'd use in a pumpkin pie, but it's not the sugary stuff, it's just pure pumpkin. And you can turn the can around to tell which one it is, and I believe, yep, just under the bottom just says pumpkin, no added sugar, all that good stuff. So. First thing we do for our, I like to call this the meat one, if you will. So and we have dog food. So this is Tanya's Trios dog food. I think it's about 2 cups. I might not use it. I'm just going to eyeball it. You will get going, when you get going on your recipe, you'll figure it out what you'd like to use and so forth. So I'm just going to eyeball a little bit of the dry dog food here. And that looks about good, and I'll give you kind of a shot. If I have to add more, that's totally fine. So I've got that there. I'm going to open my can here. And we'll just do a tidbit. And this is a not super wet, it's not super chunky per se. It's nice and smooth puree. Others, you'll find that are like chicken and rice. It might just be, come out in a little bit more chunky. I don't like to use the wet ones where, you can pretty much just pour them out in here. So I like this because it gives me a good consistency, especially when I'm stuffing. So I just give that a little bit there. I also like to add some pumpkin to this one. And just a teeny bit of carrots. All right. Now, depending on what you're stuffing, my carrots range just a little bit bigger than this, tiny size, about your thumbnail, and so forth. So you'll be able to cut it to, if you have a little dog, you're going to want to cut that a little smaller. So we'll just mix this up. And I'm liking my consistency, kind of. I think it's about perfect in my opinion. This will be nice where it holds on, where I can get a good chunk and stuff it easily. If I had too much of something that was soft, either the pumpkin or the wet dog food, I would probably add a little bit more of the dry dog food to get kind of a more stickier type of paste. So mix that up good. And then we take our Kong. And I like to just do it like this and shove it in there. Now, I think it's about 2 cups of dry dog food, perhaps either half a cup of pumpkin and 4 or 5 tablespoons of your wet dog food. So make sure you get a lid for this because you'll end up saving it and maybe perhaps using it in a Kong later. Would pretty much stuff, now these are the extra large Kongs, would pretty much stuff these no problem if I did all of the ingredients the way that I normally do. So then we just stuff all these nice and tight, because Tanya's dogs are experts at getting the good stuff out of here. Now, something you're probably going to say, hey, would I do this in alternative of feeding them their regular meal for their night? No, not necessarily, but you will lessen what you feed your dog. So if I'm taking, this is about a 1/4 cup of their food in here, I'd take about a 1/4 cup out of their regular dog food. So sometimes I really like to push it and pack it in there tight, so I'd use the back of this, but this would be good to go. I clean this up, and this can be given to them right away, or like Tanya and I, because her dogs are pros, we like to freeze them. So this makes it a little bit harder for them to get this out of there. They really have to work at it. So it's that mental stimulation that we talk about in classes too. So, and then also what I would do, same thing for our next recipe, I would stuff it just the same inside of here, but I want to do that recipe for you guys. So I'm actually just going to use some carrots, a fair amount of apples, because this is the sweet one. Yeah. A good amount of the pumpkin. And a teeny tiny bit of peanut butter. This will just kind of thicken it up a little bit, but also this is the sweet one, not the dog food one. All right. Not a ton, just perhaps a tablespoon or so. And you can add more as you see, as you keep going. So I'm liking my consistency. I like the apples. I might add just a smidgen more of these carrots. Tanya's guys really love the carrots. Now this is a sweet one, but this isn't my dog's perhaps go-to. He would totally be all for this. Something about this stuff that just really makes him go nuts. Okay, so then when we get to this, now these are a little trickier. Don't hold it like this, it'll go right through it. So what I like to do is just kind of tip it. And so I've got a sloppy kind of a hand here, but that's okay. I'm just going to shove it in there, and we just push. And you just keep doing it until this is how much you like it stuffed. So, I mean, if you just want to do a little bit and make it kind of harder for them, by shoving it in there where they have to work at it, by lifting it up, dropping it down, moving it around, really using their tongue to get in there and loosen it up. And again, you can use the back of your stuff to shove it back in there too. So I'm about halfway through. So I just did about 3 or 4 scoops of this. I'm halfway through. This side is good. If I wanted to, I could pack this in there a little bit more. I can go in on this side just a smidgen. And we also freeze these ones too. That's my dog you're hearing in the background because he really wants this. All right. So I'd say that's pretty good. You can see that if you have to. Like I said, you'll just pack it in there. I like these ones because my dog has figured out that you can lift this up and throw it on the ground and then it bops all over and then food just magically starts coming out. So I like these ones because it makes him have to work a little bit harder on it. But again, we will freeze these ones as well, and they're perfect. It's a great mental and a physical stimulation for your dog as well. So that is 2 of our recipes. This one is pumpkin, a little bit of peanut butter, apples, and carrots, and just mixed in. And this one is the dry dog food, some carrots, and a little bit of their wet dog food, and some pumpkin. Try that at home.